Good morning. Let's just talk about lettuce today, because I feel like shorter videos are going to be a little bit less of a commitment for you. I've grown a lot of lettuce this year, and lettuce is one of those crops that if you eat salad is going to be really more rewarding than anything else you're going to grow in terms of the amount of effort you have to put in versus what you get out at the end. It's got a very short time to harvest, 30 to 45 days depending on the type of lettuce. I grow exclusively loose leaf lettuce, not heading lettuce. Heading lettuce is going to take a lot more work on your part, and a lot more can go wrong in between planting and harvest that you really don't have a lot of control over. So I haven't even tried to do heading lettuce. Everything I tell you today is going to be about loose leaf lettuce only. I've got several varieties of lettuce. You can choose loose leaf lettuces that are best for your growing conditions. So do a little research up front. Mostly what I've done is I've picked varieties by color, which is not optimal, but it's colorful. Planting, you can actually put your seeds in as soon as the soil is workable. The optimal germination temperature is between 40 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah, space them about 4 to 6 inches apart depending on the variety of lettuce that you're growing. So for example, my devil's ear lettuce right here is going to be best spaced at 6 inches, but since I'm doing pick and come again, I'm going to keep my plants relatively small. I'm never going to see an adult sized devil's ear lettuce in this garden. In fact, I'm going to be picking them today. The black seed lettuce, which I don't believe is in frame right now, is actually closer to a 4-inch spacing. So yeah, you can direct sow it. That's especially good in the spring. Drop your seeds in a 1/4-inch trench or row or grid or whatever, and then just lightly cover them. Some varieties of loose leaf lettuce will germinate better if they get a little light. Keep them wet until they germinate. Depending on your temperature, that's going to be between 2 and 10 days. Mine took longer because I planted them in the very beginning of March when it was too cold to germinate, and then as soon as the temperature was right for germination, they took off. So that's also an option. You can plant them before you hit optimal temperature. This is the most attractive I've had lettuce in a garden look ever in my life so far. I grew this under mesh. It's so you can just Google agricultural mesh and where to buy it, and it didn't get disturbed by any birds or cats or anything this year because it was growing under mesh and it was protected, and that was really nice. The mesh is light enough that the plants are able to just kind of lift it up as they grow. Just make sure that when you put your mesh over your crop, you can, you leave a little bit of room for expansion there. Lettuce is best picked in the morning, and it just happens to be morning right now. So I'm going to pick some lettuce. Pick and come again just means that you're going to take the outer leaves off of the plant and leave enough inner leaves for the plant to get energy from the sun and regrow what you've taken. So it's a great way to stagger your harvest without staggering your plantings, which really works for me because I'm going to try to sound like I know what I'm talking about in these videos, but really I don't like planning ahead very much, and so anything that takes some planning steps out of the equation for me is going to be preferred. You can hear one of our airplanes in the background. I live right by the airport, so if you watch my videos and you're like, wow, constant air traffic, yes, that is true. The nice thing about pick and come again is that the more you do it, the easier it is to harvest from your plants, because they actually develop kind of a stalk, because you're picking your outer leaves and your inner leaves grow higher up on the plant. So every time you go in and harvest from your lettuce, the bits you're harvesting are going to be a little further up off the ground. Now I'm going to keep doing this, and I'm not going to make you watch the whole harvest, even though it's only going to take a few minutes. But I'll show you what I got today. And once your lettuce is in full swing, so during the cool time of your year, you can get 2 or 3 harvests a week, which is pretty brilliant. And another thing I like about Pick and Come Again is that you don't have to keep a bunch of lettuce in your fridge. It's just kind of stored alive in your garden. If you struggle with fridge space, that's a good way to go. Alright, so here is my harvest from just a few minutes of going around and picking just the outer leaves from each plant and leaving at least 3 to 5 leaves on each plant so that they can keep harvesting energy from the sun to make me more lettuce. I also picked spinach, which you can treat essentially the same way. In fact, my growing advice for spinach would be about the same as for lettuce as well. Please don't do Pick and Come Again on heading lettuce. You will ruin your lettuce heads. So don't do this if you're growing a heading lettuce like iceberg or romaine or something. This is just for the loose leaf varieties. And once more, I have never tried growing a heading lettuce yet. That's something I'm holding off on for when I'm better at gardening. So keep that in mind. The lettuce that you see in the stores is not always the easiest lettuce for a beginner gardener to grow, and there are other options out there. Now, the best times to grow lettuce are when it is cool in your climate. So in my climate, I'm going to get a spring sowing, and I'm going to pick and come again until they bolt. Picking some of the leaves forces it to grow more leaves and may put off bolting, which is a benefit. So you're making your lettuce last longer and eating salad. Mid to late July, I'm going to plant more lettuce. It's going to be too hot outside to do that, so that's going to happen in my basement, where it maintains a temperature of about 60 degrees all year long. And then I will transplant them out after a short hardening off period, and it's important to start them a little sooner, toward the end of the season, because as the days get colder and shorter moving into the fall, your lettuce is going to slow down its production quite a bit. If you grow under cover, so in Zone 7B where I am, if I put a layer of fleece or if I put lettuce in my cold frame, I can harvest lettuce into December, which is actually kind of cool. So last Thanksgiving, my family and I enjoyed a salad with fresh lettuce leaves from my garden. So that was a lot of fun. That's about everything I have to say about lettuce, which may or may not be more than you expected me to say. Hopefully I wasn't too rambling. I'm going to try to be a bit more succinct in my videos. And happy gardening. Please be sure to subscribe and like my video if you liked it. Go ahead and dislike it if you didn't like it. And I always welcome constructive criticism, so if you're not going to do like your typical YouTube comment that is repulsive and will get deleted, go ahead and leave me some constructive criticism in the comments, or even just talk about how you like to grow lettuce. There are a lot of different ways to grow lettuce out there, as with, it seems, anything in the garden. There's no one right way to do anything, so let's talk about it. Or maybe there's something that works better in your climate than in mine. Yeah, subscribe, like, do the notification thing, and I'll talk to you again later.